IRD still chasing hard?
Yeah, there's two divisions within IRD that are chasing for outstanding returns and debt, and their attitude has really shifted. They're a lot more aggressive, not quite as friendly as what they have been in the past, and as a taxpayer, they are really on your case. They don't let up. If you get a call from them, you've got 2 or 3 days to respond, and if you don't respond, then they move on to the next stage of legal proceedings.
If you do get a call, do you ring your chartered accountant?
Yes, you should immediately, because it means that they're on your case and they're expecting you to get whatever's outstanding either paid or filed. If it's returns that your accountant can help with, well, then you should definitely dump it on them, let them do the work, negotiate anything that might be outstanding with them. So if you've got a debt, you haven't filed them because you can't pay, then at least get your accountant to start the negotiation with the IRD and say, look, here's the returns, sorry we can't pay, but this is what we want to do, and come to sort of some arrangement.
Because they will do arrangements.
They will do arrangements if you can make it a reasonable one. So you can't sort of go long-term periods that's sort of longer than sort of 12 months at the moment. You've got to stick to them, which is a big one. So it's got to be affordable for you, but it also means that you get that core tax and the interest cost paid in a reasonable time for IRD as well.
But IRD are still, across the board, pretty friendly.
Yeah, they're there to help if they can. If you get on the wrong side of them, then you get a black mark and it's a bit harder. But they want to make sure that you comply. The law is pretty straightforward in some areas, some isn't, but IRD will help guide you. But don't always rely on what they say. Your accountant should be your first port of call. But if you've got a quick question or you just want to say what happened to my return, IRD are there to sort of answer those if you want.
I found they lean over backwards to help somebody like myself.
They will. If you go to them before you have big problems, they will do whatever they can to help because they don't want you to go under. They want you to survive and carry on. And obviously the government will get a good tax take if you do. So that's always their core focus, is to make sure that as a business you are moving forward and that you can keep paying your tax. They will do whatever it can. They'll even send out people to sort of sit down and go through your paperwork if you're that confused.
But if you don't, they will take you to court.
Yeah, if you don't comply and you constantly ignore what they do, you don't respond, they will go to that next level legal proceedings. So, for example, if you're a company, they'll liquidate you. And I've seen a couple recently where they took that action against someone. There was a public notice came out, and when you looked at the case, it was basically they didn't respond. They had about a dozen returns outstanding. And so IRD just deemed to be non-compliant and went for them at the court and put into liquidation.
And IRD are monitoring land sales.
Yes, it's been known for a while that there's ability for land information to be passed to IRD, and we've seen clear evidence of it now. I had a farmer recently sell a couple of blocks, and with a month of him selling them, they rang up and said, look, we've seen he sold the land, is there tax to pay? So you can't hide when you sell any land now. They know exactly what's going on. And it doesn't necessarily apply to just farming, it applies to all sorts of land sales.
So what sort of tax problems can you have if you sell a block of land?
A lot of it comes down to what your intention was when you bought it. So if you bought a block of land thinking I'm going to make a profit in the next 3 or 4 years and you sell it, you may have tax to pay there. If you buy land and you sell it within 10 years, potentially you could also be trapped and have tax to pay. There's a wide ranging area that you can sort of get trapped in, especially if you start doing sort of subdivision type work, whether it be major or minor. There's all sorts of rules around there. So it's a huge area for IRD, and especially with the demand for land at the moment, there's some potential there for them to make some good money out of it.
Stir and GST?
GST is a big one. There are provisions at the moment where you can zero rate it, but that relies on both parties being GST registered now. So if you're selling a block of land, 9 times out of 10 that's okay, but occasionally you'll be selling it to someone that may be not registered, and therefore you've got to pay your GST to IRD, and sometimes that doesn't always happen.